Hey, how are you? I am Chris Robin, aka at Detroit Beastie, here with Fantasy Six Pack to talk about Thursday night football. The Minnesota Vikings head to LA to battle Matthew Stafford and the Rams. Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. As it stands right now, the over/under 47.5 points. The Minnesota Vikings 5-1, having lost Sunday to the Detroit Lions, and the Rams 2-4 after they came back and beat the Vegas Raiders, if I'm not mistaken, last week. So you could say two teams going in opposite directions, and that I don't know if that's, I guess that would be true. Minnesota's zooming. Minnesota's a high-end team, and the Rams are a high-end team in theory, but they're getting some pieces back tonight. Fingers crossed Cooper Kupp is going to play. Puka Nacua has been activated off the IR, and looks at everything I've read, even Shefty tweeted it out, that more than likely Puka will play, but what is his role going to be? He's a young guy, right? He's very young, and he came back quickly from his PCL sprain. So, I mean, far be it from me to say yes or no, this guy's going to play, he shouldn't play. If these guys are active as a professional athlete, especially playing football, they have to be, accounted for. There's no half steps, no half measures in professional football. If you're running half speed or I don't know, you're going to get hammered and ran over. So, got a little bit ahead of myself. As I said, kickoff, as I usually do. Kickoff is at 8:15 p.m. Minnesota's at the Rams. Before I get into the video, quickie kind of deal here. Make sure you get to the website, fantasy6pack.net. Given that this kicks off week 8, our seasonal and dynasty teams, are they in turmoil? Are you going to make a run? You got to trade off some pieces. Are you buying or selling? You can figure it all out here at Fantasy Six Pack, not only in the Discord, but with the rankings, the IDP rankings as well. There's a lot to be done at this website if you put your mind to it. Got some DFS questions, some betting deals, some betting trends, whatever it is, tag me in the Discord, which is free for the most part. Some premium channels, as I always say, but I missed out though. We've done this dance a million times before, and we're going to do it a million times after this. Let's talk about this football. Last I looked, I said 47.5 is the over-under. Minnesota's -3, which I do like, but what's the final score going to be? We shall see. We're going to do an abbreviated version because it's later in the afternoon today. Bottom of the barrel, the logo just popped up, is out and published. I did everything I could to get it out a little bit earlier than normal, and I'm not an octopus. I can't be typing an article, recording a video, so I placed the importance on bottom of the barrel because it lasts all through the weekend, right? And the video here, only going to be, 5-10 minutes, something like that. But when we get into it, I built the lineup once again, that double header Monday video. I spent a ton of time on it. I built the lineup. I talked about it. I don't even think it got 100 views. What should I do? Stay the course. That's what I'm going to keep doing, because everything I do, to be fair, not to sound selfish, but I would wake up in the morning and do my notes and crunch numbers and highlight stuff, even if a camera and a microphone never existed. So I'm going to stay the course, and we'll go from there. So let's do it this way, like we did Monday. If you didn't watch the video, you can watch it. All the advice is null and void because the game already happened. But what I did is I built the lineup. I highlighted the players. I said who they were, and then at the bottom here, I built like 10 lines, something like that. And then after it was done, I started, tinkering, right? Enter that one lineup, I don't touch it. That's the template, I guess. I've said this a million times as well. Once I enter a lineup, even if it's $100, I'm not going to tinker, because that could lead to some nasty business where you enter a lineup, it's $1,000 to get in, grand prize is 10, it's 10 teams, 10 people like that, and you tinker and you go, if I wouldn't have made that one move, I would have won the whole thing. So the first gut entry, I always leave in, and I build from there. So as it stands now tonight, you got time, grab a pen and a piece of paper, pause the video, or I can just stop and stare at you while you grab a pen and paper. Did you do it? Beautiful. All right, let's start to write this down. I'm going to start with both running backs, Aaron Jones and Kyren Williams. When you look at Aaron Jones at the Rams 24th overall against opposing running backs, $12,000 on FanDuel, 9.6 on DK. 15 to 16 carries, 80 yards, 2 to 3 receptions for another 30 yards, and the chances he finds the end zone are highly likely tonight. Last week he had 93 yards against the Lions, and he's just going to keep rolling. The Minnesota Vikings added this guy to be their workhorse running back in unison to Justin Jefferson. So Aaron Jones, absolutely a play. When you look at Kyren Williams, the Minnesota Vikings, 9th overall against opposing running backs. But I want to preface this by saying, yes, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, and no, I'm not trying to put down Minnesota. That's like fun personal stuff. I would never bash a fan base or a team for the sake of a video, but it is a good, I'm just drawing on the past experience. And when you look at Jamar Gibbs last week, DeMont kind of, was hurt, or not banged up, I should say, early on, and Jamar Gibbs went nuts. He had a 45-yard touchdown. I think there was 5 or 8 yards. His second to 116 yards on the ground. He did well. So more than likely, Minnesota's 9th overall DVP against running backs. It's not meaningless, but we just got to open our eyes sometimes and see what's right in front of us. Kyren Williams, 15-5 on FanDuel, 11-2 on DK. When you look at Kyren Williams so far, he's a touchdown machine. He has 9 total touchdowns already, 8 on the ground, 1 receiving. And as it stands right now, the Rams averaging around 19 points a game, but only 100.3 rushing yards a game, which I believe is in the 19th to 21st overall in terms of a rushing game. But Kyren Williams tonight, 20 to 21 carries, 85 yards, a touchdown, plus 2 to 3 receptions. 3 may be ambitious, so we'll say 1 to 2 receptions for 15 to 20 yards. You're going to want to get Kyren Williams in your lineups, and we're going to start with stacking him and Aaron Jones, MVP captain, and vice versa. When we look at the wide receivers, don't freak out. My initial reaction was to not fade Justin Jefferson, but build elsewhere, and then we can add him in when all is said and done. So my first initial lineup does not have Justin Jefferson, but I made quick work of it in my other entries here. So as it stands, I love the idea of Jordan Addison tonight, because we can't have a Minnesota Vikings offense and not stack at least one of their wide receivers. And so far, Jordan Addison has been a nice wide receiver, a nice piece. You're looking at 5 to 6 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, 50 to 55 yards, and that could be the low. I don't want to say that's his floor, but that could be the lower to mid range of his projection here tonight. And we'll move on. Cooper Kupp is a must-have tonight. When you look at the Vikings, dead last, 32nd overall against opposing wide receivers. Kupp, 8 to 9 targets, 6 to 7 receptions, 75 to 80 yards, and I think he scores a touchdown as well. So far, Aaron Jones, anytime touchdown. Kyren Williams, anytime touchdown. Cooper Kupp, anytime touchdown. All 3 of those guys and Jordan Addison are in our DFS lineups. When we go down, I had to make a business decision here, given the funds that I had left. I'm going with Johnny Munt, the Minnesota Vikings tight end. And, why'd you do that? Why not a defense or a kicker? Well, the one thing that stuck out to me is the Vikings 31st overall against, or the Rams, I should say, 31st overall against opposing tight ends. Johnny Munt, 6'5 on FanDuel, 2.8 on DK. I mean, even Colby Parkinson you could put in there as well, although he's $1,500 more expensive on FanDuel. But for projection, Munt and Parkinson's, 4 to 5 targets, 3 to 4 receptions, 30 to 35 yards. And you might say, well, isn't that convenient? Both tight ends, same projections. And to be fair, I didn't do that for convenience sake. I did it because that's what I think is going on. So if you still have your pen and a piece of paper, Aaron Jones, Kyren Williams, Jordan Addison, Cooper Kupp, and Johnny Munt. So here, that's the first gut reaction DFS lineup that I built for the single game slate tonight. With that lineup, you have $3,000 left. So you could subtract Munt and add in Colby Parkinson. You could subtract Johnny Munt and add in Puka Nacua if you'd like. I mean, he looks like he was activated, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast. He's only $5,000 on FanDuel, if I'm not mistaken. It's like they forgot to. I'm looking up the lineup now that I took screenshots of. It's like they forgot to update it, because when you look on DraftKings, he's $10,600. And yeah, was I right? Yeah, Puka Nakua, $5,000 on FanDuel. And let me remind you, Minnesota dead last, 32nd overall against opposing wide receivers. So in that gut initial reaction, it didn't have Justin Jefferson. That's an easy fix. Leave it the same. You have to get rid of Kyren Williams, which I hate to do, but whoop, you can pop in Justin Jefferson. That's lineup number 2. When we look at a third lineup, we're going to move some pieces around. So pay attention. It's not physics. It's not rocket science when it comes to this. So that initial lineup, Jones, Williams, Addison, Kupp, and Munt, I got rid of Aaron Jones. And when doing that, you have enough money to then put in Justin Jefferson. You get rid of Munt again, and you can put in Puka. So the second lineup would be Kyren Williams, Justin Jefferson, Puka, Jordan Addison, and Cooper Kupp. What's his name? Puka Nakua only being $5,000 on FanDuel allots you a lot of breathing room, if that makes sense. And those are probably more cash game lineups than anything, because I'm not the smartest man alive. I'm not the end all be all. A lot of folks are going to be thinking like this tonight. I'm just kind of not only putting pen to paper, but face to phone. I don't know however you're watching this, but I did have no fear. I did build one kind of, it's not off the wall, but there's a few guys in this lineup that I think are going to be low owned, that maybe, if Tutu Atwell, hangs 80 yards and a touchdown, shoot, if Tutu Atwell, 4 catches for 50 yards and a score, we're zooming. And then Blake Corum as well. He's only $6,000 on FanDuel, while on DraftKings, he's 2-4, 5-6 carries, 20 yards. When I look at Tutu, looking at 2 to 3 targets, 2 to 3 receptions, maybe 25 to 30 yards. And what are the chances, in the second half, let's say, or the second quarter? Because if you noticed, or if you didn't notice, last week, that's when in the second quarter, before halftime, before the second half, that's when Minnesota was highly outplayed and outscored by the Lions. And is there some sort of, hangover going on? I don't know. I think this game's going to be a heavyweight NFC, bout here, but they were outscored in the second quarter. And who knows, is that a thing? I didn't dig any deeper than last week, but that could be a thing. And I'm sure Sean McVay, he's like a idiot savant, or we'll get rid of idiot and just say he's a savant. He knows this. He knows everything. He knows Santa Claus's real name probably, and we go from there. But when I look at this lineup, the off the map, maybe the GPP line, single entry GPP, again, another pen, won't fill a page of paper. What is this, the 4th or 5th line I have? Looking at Justin Jefferson at MVP captain. Kyren Williams is in there. Got Kyren Williams is a safe bet for a touchdown, obviously. Tutu Atwell, Blake Corum, and Aaron Jones. You have the safetyness, I should say, of both high-end running backs, Aaron Jones, Kyren Williams. You have probably the best player, not only of tonight, but in all of football, with Justin Jefferson offensively. And then you can toss in Tutu Atwell and Blake Corum. Those last 2 spots, Tutu and Corum, those are yours to tinker with and see what you can do. That's what I've come up with. Hopefully that was fun. It was a little bit different, and I had to do something in a pinch, at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Lock is, 3 hours away, something like that. So be good, be safe. I have the Minnesota Vikings to win this one, 28-21. So you're looking at 6-7 total touchdowns. So there's a lot to go around. Gave you some anytime touchdown bets. Aaron Jones, Kyren Williams, Cooper Kupp, and the rest will be revealed later. So be good, be safe. Bottom of the barrel is out now. Check it out. I'll share it over the weekend. And I'll see you again Sunday afternoon at noon, right here at fantasy6pack.net for the Sunday social to discuss week 8 overall. This is fantastic. Halloween is 1 week away as well. It's getting good, folks. Fall is here. Minnesota wins 28-21. I'll talk to you over the weekend. Bye.